All I want to know to start is Danny's theories about the moon. Can you go into those elaborately?
Yes. Let's see if my brain is working. So, Harry Potter mode. All right, refresh. Okay, so I was reading the chapter before we're on right now. So it was 18 or 19, wherever the moon comes out and Lupin starts freaking out. That must have been the beginning of 19. And I was questioning how all of this werewolf stuff works because it seemed like it was the moment when the clouds cleared and that's what caused him to go into his werewolf mode. So I kind of wanted to break that down and understand it. So I was pausing on that. And then I thought, well, I can actually look this up and understand the moon phase because the moon's pretty consistent. So I looked at the historical moon phase calculator online and realized that in 1994, which is the year it's supposed to be, it was not a full moon on June 6th, which is the day we know this is. So
how do we know it's that date?
The date was mentioned a few times, and it comes up here in chapter 21 because they're traveling in time, so it comes up again.
Okay.
We know that it's the 6th because it was when Buckbeak was being executed. So there were a lot of official documents from the Ministry of Magic saying on this day, June the 6th, although they didn't say the year, which is a little weird. But knowing that, it was easy to find it and also easy to see that it was not a full moon on June 6th. So I did a little more research. I was like trying to look at other holidays from parts of the book, like Valentine's Day, but they didn't do a little dinner or like roses or anything. I tried to look at other holidays where maybe Lupin was around, but the only other one that lined up was September 1st. We know where he was because they were on the train. We know it was dark because it's always dark, although I guess the moon being out doesn't really relate to darkness. But either way, it was one of those things where I looked and realized on the 1st, it was a full moon. And yet Lupin was sitting on the train like it was no big deal. So my conclusion is not that JK messed up her moon phases. It is that there was a massive mistake with time traveling where the Ministry of Magic has a mega time traveler and they accidentally brought all of humanity back 1 year. And nobody even knows it. At least the majority of people don't know it because in 1993, it was a full moon on June 6th. So again, the timing is interesting with the clouds parting. So my theory is there is an element of direct moonlight that matters. That could speed up the werewolf process. But even if there was no direct moonlight and he was buried in a dungeon, 100 feet below ground, he would still turn into a werewolf at a certain point when the full moon reaches its like peak. But when you're exposed to direct moonlight, it probably accelerates that. So because it was the direct moonlight, I think he turned right then. But even if he didn't, he probably only had another hour or so. It's the only theory that kind of makes sense to me. Time travel and something weird about the werewolf. Like, I don't know. There is direct moonlight matters to a degree. But it obviously can't be the only thing.
There's theories on this on Reddit too. People love it, the idea because Lupin sleeps on the train. The date is the 1st of September 1993 and there was a full moon the previous night. So that's why he's like hungover in the train.
Oh. Wait, okay, but
according to your theory, these things don't line up very well because unless this is the year where they chose to go back in time and they they went completely back in time for 1 year and no one really knows.
Or Hermione made a giant mistake with her device and nobody even knows, and she accidentally blasted all of the humanity back a year, mid-year.
Wow.
Wow, that would be intense, actually. I don't think Hermione's device is powerful enough for that, but maybe they didn't know how it would interact with something else at Hogwarts, and then all of a sudden, mid-year, she blasts everyone back to 93. It's the only way that September 1st could be a full moon and June 6th.
It has to be in between that somewhere.
But the being hungover part, it doesn't feel like it makes sense because that would be like he would only be a werewolf for like 24 hours.
Yeah.
But isn't it multiple days? Isn't it a while? Like I was under the impression that like it hits the full moon, and it's not that like the night before he becomes werewolf. At the moment where the moon is most full, he becomes a werewolf, and then it like wears off over.
Like a werewolf.
Wears off.
Nice.
Over the next few days. But like, how long is he a werewolf? Because they're in the Shrieking Shack, like hanging out and stuff. I was thinking 3 days.
I always thought it was a day because I thought it was
interesting.
Just the only the one day that it was a full moon. That was when he transformed. And
right.
then after that, he had like severe injuries and he had to recover from that because he was like, it was like a hangover.
Yeah.
But I always just pictured it being one day.
That can make sense.
I was picturing that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it still takes him time to adjust back to humanity. That's why he's like a little hungover. That can make sense.
So the question is, what did Hermione mess up on? Or if we're not even taking that, what date do you think they would go back in time? Like what year would they try to like go back and correct or fix? Is that like something in World War I or World War II?
It feels like it would have to be like at a time when, I don't know, I guess they didn't fully understand the implications of time travel. And so now it feels like they've got strict rules. There's probably a time travel council at the Ministry of Magic that McGonagall had to get the approval from for Hermione to even use it. Side note, that's ridiculous that they even gave a student such power. But
I don't care how smart you are, no student should have a time turner.
So I think then that at some point they made some mistakes. The Ministry of Magic, or the guy who originally invented the time traveling spells and devices, and at some point in there they probably lost track of what year it even was. They're like, we moved around too much, we changed things, we are controlling the radius. Like Hermione gets to turn that little thing, and what did Harry have to do? Like put his arm around her, or like the necklace had to be around him too.
Around him,
yeah, so like at some point they didn't understand how that all worked, and they built a device and boom, blasted everyone back a year. But we don't know a lot about it yet. But if Hermione, a student, not even like, well, she's an advanced student, but she's a third year, you know? They give her this device. That means that big bad wizards, dark wizards, Grindelwald maybe, back in the day when Dumbledore and Grindelwald were fighting it out, Hitler had time travel, or he was close to getting it done. So, I don't know. Things have definitely gone wrong in the past on this one.
The time turners open up a whole different aspect of discussion too. I'll get to, but
As soon as you introduce time travel, it feels like it becomes the ultimate power. Like now, all of a sudden, I'm like, that must be what Voldemort was after to begin with. He wants to have control over time travel, because once you can do that, you're set. And then the same goes for people fighting Voldemort. They're like, oh wow, something crazy goes on. You know, go back in time and fix things and make sure Voldemort never rises to power.
Yeah. Do you think this is going to be a major plot hole in the future? They're going to try to it's going to be like a time heist, like I think the Avengers.
Ultimately, right. That's a good example. Like, I think JK had to make a choice whether the whole rest of the series is going to be about time travel, or whether she drops it right now and never touches the subject again, because it's kind of dicey.
That is really interesting, though. We'll talk about this more as we go on. But anyway, welcome to the podcast. I'm John.
Jen.
Danny.
And Kristen.
And this is Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. So we have officially caught the releases of the podcast up to the recordings of the podcast. We recorded this episode only 2 days ago on Saturday, and we are starting the reading of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Yes, book 4, some of our favorite books. Love this book so much. We're starting this one this week. So read along with us. We are reading the first 5 chapters of this book. What I'm going to do is on our subreddit, I'm going to open up just, I guess, like a discussion board for each of the chapters that we're discussing. So what you can do is you can read them along with us and then listen to the podcast after. But while you're reading, come up with like interesting things that you know. I want this to be a community experience because my sight on this book is only so much. I would love for other people to get differing things, maybe different questions you want to ask Jenn and Danny and Kristen too, as like a second time reader. So that's going to be fun. This whole week we're talking about the first 5 chapters of Goblet of Fire. Very exciting. We're also going to dabble into the movie too, the movie podcast, where right now it's Saturday. We're probably going to watch this tomorrow on Sunday, and we might record on Sunday as well, but we might wait till the middle of the week to record. But if you have any thoughts on the movie too, there's a few scenes that I hate in the movie, and I will mention them later in this podcast. But here's the question that I want to raise on the subreddit. If you were to rank the movies, what would you rank as the best and what would you rank as the worst? Because this movie is a good movie. I'm excited to watch this one. There's some issues that I have with it. Obviously, like every Harry Potter reader, they have issues with the books. But this is a very, very good movie. I'm excited to watch it. So follow along on our subreddit, r/first-time readers. Also, give us a rating and review. You do not understand how much that helps the podcast. If you give us good ratings and good reviews, more people will find this podcast, the community will grow, and will become just an unstoppable force of nerds reading Harry Potter and wanting to vicariously live through other people who are reading Harry Potter first for the first time. So follow our subreddit, rate us and review us. Enjoy this podcast. We are so grateful for you. Our numbers are always increasing. It's so much fun to just check how many people are loving this journey that we're going on. So enjoy this podcast on the last 2 chapters of The Prisoner of Azkaban. Let's dive into these chapters. We are in chapter 21, Hermione's Secret. So, can any of you guys give me a summary of this chapter? We only have 2 chapters left.
Hermione's Secret was when Dumbledore gives the okay for Hermione and Harry to go to use the, what was the exact name of that thing?
The Time Turner?
Oh, a Time Turner. To go back 3 hours so that way they could save more innocent lives is what Dumbledore kind of said. And then it just goes into what that looks like, saving Buckbeak and Sirius Black. And then you see the Patronus and Harry's Patronus, but we don't get what that is until the next chapter.
Yeah. Yep. That was perfect. This one opens up with them all going into the hospital wing, and Harry kind of wakes up and he hears a few words. He says, "You surely don't believe a word of Black's story," Snape whispered, his eyes fixed on Dumbledore's face. Mm-hmm. "I wish to speak to Harry and Hermione alone," Dumbledore repeated. So he kicks them all out, and then the whole plot unhatches. But what do you think about the dynamic between Snape and Dumbledore in this book? Like, what is their relationship?
It still seems like Dumbledore is like his superior, and he does respect him in a way. And Dumbledore, I don't know, he just is quick to like dismiss Snape in a way. But I don't know.
It felt like Snape was trying to prove himself to Dumbledore big time. He wanted to be like, believe me. That's what I was taking from it.
Yeah. It even feels like that's why he went to the Shrieking Shack to begin with almost.
Yeah.
Like he wanted to like get a win. Look what I did, Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Yeah, their dynamic is really interesting. I think it's one of the more interesting in the book so far. You don't exactly know what's happening between them, but it seems like Dumbledore, right, is the one with more power, and Snape is definitely trying to prove himself. But you're wondering if that's just because Dumbledore is such a powerful wizard and Snape is really impressed and he wants to aspire to be like him or impress one of the best wizards of the age, or if it's like some other reason that happened.
A part of me, though, kind of feels, because Dumbledore allowed Lupin to come to school. So then I guess some weird way I'm like, the power that Dumbledore has, or he kind of, like, I feel like Snape is kind of like, maybe like angry or bitter in a way, possibly, at Dumbledore for like certain things that to the normal wizard seems crazy. Like, why would you allow that? Or like some unfathomable like allowing things to
and since he was kind of a direct result, like his life was put in danger, it's probably like, what about me? What about me? Do I matter? I feel like that's what he was kind of saying and proving. Like, do I matter?
Because he picks Dumbledore just picks interesting people and believes the ones that are like the odd ones out or like the underdog. And Snape is, I feel like, comes in like, but I have all this evidence, or I've never let you wrong. Like, why don't you listen to me?
Yeah.
That's so good. Snape's an interesting character too. There's another good line in this one too, where as soon as Snape leaves, the trio or the duo right here goes, "You believe us?" And Dumbledore says, "Yes, I do," he said calmly, "but I have no power to make other men see the truth." Which I think is really interesting too. That's a great line. But we talked about this in the intro, but what do you guys think of the whole time turner idea? Is that a little too crazy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, Danny in our previous podcast mentioned something along the lines like, "Oh, she has something, and it could be a time traveling device or something."
You mentioned that really briefly with like Hermione going to
with
classes
the clone
like
time, where I was like,
where something slipped out of her cloak, right? That's
yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah, going up the stairs. Yep.
And then another interesting one. Have you ever felt like you ran into a past or future version of yourself?
What?
Like time turners exist. You're like walking down the street being like, is that me?
I feel like I've witnessed, no, I haven't. People have witnessed like doppelgangers.
Yeah.
They're like, I feel like I met you, but it wasn't you. But I mean,
I guess it's maybe like what deja vu is a little bit too. You're like, I've been here before.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. I haven't had that happen in a long time. Yeah, but the time turners, I mentioned, since they exist, who in the world gets to use them? And what are the parameters in getting to use one? Because like you mentioned, Danny, like that's a big deal.
Huge.
And the fact that a student got one, I want to know the parameters.
But then
I don't know. What?
I'm going to go off that for 1 second. Like Hermione, why is she like this special student that is allowed to use that? And why does she have to take all these classes? That's what I didn't understand. I'm like, haven't other smart wizards come through here and they all got this time traveling device? Or I just don't get what's so special about her, even though I love
Right. Maybe
like,
McGonagall saw something in her. Maybe she
has
was,
she done this before?
her. I don't. Yeah.
Right. I mean, the Marauders, they were fifth years when they did the map and stuff, and maybe they had access. At least one of them did, and then it was supposed to be a secret. And then they didn't keep it a secret. They all used it together, and that's how they were able to spend more time in the library researching these things. Maybe there's some possibilities there. Or with a time device, is that a shortcut to the animagus thing? Like, could you use time travel?
That's interesting.
To make that easier? I'm trying to think of, you read the steps of like, wait a month or don't eat for a certain amount of time.
But how many time traveler devices are there?
Well, like, for example, the thing that has to sit in your mouth, like a leaf or something for a month. Like, if you don't have a month, you could just in 1 hour go back thousands of times, however many hours are in a month, and then you could get it done quicker. So I don't know if there's a way to shorten the process, but there might be a way.
I feel like that would be a cheaper. You'd be like a weird version of an animal. After that.
Yeah,
like a mutated animal.
Yeah.
Your next heartbeat, you're like, oh, you're gonna become a centipede or something stupid.
No, I take it back. Because other students must have had this thing. Hermione can't be the first.
I think so. That's a really interesting question too. I think the best students at Hogwarts, if we're ranking so far who we think are the greatest students that have ever walked through Hogwarts, I feel like Voldemort and then Hermione is number 2.
Wow, number 2.
Really?
I feel like she is. I feel like it's kind of like this student is exceptional. She has not, I guarantee you, she hasn't scored a below 100 on any test or quiz or anything that she's had. Except for maybe the Defense Against the Dark Arts. She ran out of the boggart freaking out.
What about the
divination?
Yeah, that was too good for her.
Yeah.
She just dropped that. That's a stupid class anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say it feels like
so.
I don't know. I'm still waiting for other things to come true.
Get a time traveling thing.
Yeah.
I cannot.
Maybe it hasn't been around that
name.
long. Maybe it's
So
like a new
easy.
thing.
And maybe this is a part of the plot where he got one or something like that, and this is where the whole plot went wrong, that he saw something in the Potters or saw something in the last Potter. went forward and like needs to destroy Harry for some reason. Like that maybe Harry is like the wizarding equivalent of Hitler, and Voldemort is actually doing a service trying to go back and kill baby Hitler.
Oh
baby
my
Harry.
god!
Because Grindelwald is actually Harry, and Dumbledore has to kill him in 1945 after Harry time travels back.
Okay, I'm
to take
lost.
over
I was
the
going to say
world.
my brain can't keep up right now.
We
It's
need
way
to
too
write some
many.
fan fiction for
You
this.
guys
This
can
would be
keep
so
that.
good.
He was
These are
really
the kinds
excited
of
about it.
things that all of a sudden can come up when you
I
time
know.
travel. So I have to believe that Hermione's time travel device, what's it
But then
called? A
when
time
Voldemort-
turner.
Time
I keep
turner.
making up a new
I'm
name.
saying-
The time turner. It has to be pretty limited. Like she can turn it back 5 clicks max.
Yeah.
And then there is someone who has a bigger one, a better one. Maybe McGonagall does. And so if anything goes really wrong, McGonagall could trump that by going farther back and preventing Hermione from using it to begin with.
But then I don't understand, because then the whole premise of Harry Potter's parents dying and Voldemort being like losing all his powers doesn't make sense, because you could time travel and just keep redoing it. And like if like Lupin had it, or Sirius Black had could get their hands on it, they could just go back in time and then change who the secret keeper is, and all these things that we're saying. It's like the book would be so different. I don't know, the story would be so
Well, that's why there's got to be serious parameters. Like,
Yeah.
I
and
wanna
like
know who's
how
in charge
many
it.
of them
Yeah,
are.
and also we're
But-
thinking of it in like one frame of reference, but I'm also thinking like when they went back in time, they didn't change anything. What they did was already done. You know what I mean?
And
Like
they couldn't be seen at all.
Right.
And for me, it works for Hermione because she's a rule follower. So
Yeah.
like, you know, because she was so adamant when they used it to
Yeah.
her, like, we can't be seen, you know? So I feel like McGonagall saw that in her, and she had to write several times to the Ministry of Magic, right?
Yeah.
To convince them. So that's why I'm like, what are the parameters?
Yeah.
You know, it has to be tight for them to not just give
Still,
it to
that
whoever.
is shocking to me that the Ministry of Magic would even just let a student have one. I don't care how many times you're writing. We're not giving a 8th grader a freaking time turner. Like,
Yeah,
we're not going to let them
they
control
also throw
time.
anyone else into Azkaban. Oh, like
That's
Hagrid,
true.
you
They're
go
so
in.
incompetent
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
Like, no, I don't trust
That
them.
is a great point.
But I don't trust the Ministry of Magic. I'm part of the rebellion here, but I also feel like they must be pretty experienced, and there must be, if they're trusting Hermione, and we think that's a bad thing, there also must be a reason.
I like to believe whoever is in charge of making that decision is a good person.
And they're a professional time traveler. They didn't get to the committee
yeah.
from just random chance. They might have invented this thing for all we know.
Yeah.
And how does that work with aging? Well, that's a separate thing. But like, if this person is approving it, it may be because Hermione is needed for something. Like, hey, she's super powerful and she's going to be one of the greatest wizards of all time. And I already know that because I've seen her in the future and she does great things. But we need to train her in specific ways now to prepare her for what's coming. Give her the time thing so she can take all the classes.
This has a lot of Marvel similarities. If any of you guys have seen Loki, the series, it's like there's the one guy.
Oh, yeah, I didn't finish it.
Forgot exactly what, but I'm not going to spoil it then. But like people, this guy, there's got to be some guy in the Harry Potter universe who essentially controls time and the time turners. And he's the one that gives permission for people to do certain things. Maybe he was the one that created it and no one else can create it, because that's another point
yeah,
too.
nice.
If this thing, if time turners are just able to be created, then why wouldn't Voldemort create one? He's an insanely powerful wizard. Same thing with the Marauders map.
Yeah.
I am so curious how this magic actually forms and the structure of some of this, how it begins, unless it's just like unexplainable deep magic that they kind of go in the book with, because making a time turner must be insane. But I guess my theory is one guy probably did it, like you're talking about, Danny, and he's the one that controls. He knows the whole timeline, so like he'll give it to people, and if they try to jump out of line, I'm sure he'll like jump into place and like prevent them from doing something.
So is there like one time turner?
I feel like there's
The
probably multiple,
timekeeper.
but there's probably
Father
a timekeeper,
Time.
Father
Okay.
Time or something like that. I don't know.
The creator of it that's in control.
Yeah.
But then he has to live forever.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess he can.
I was going to
But
say, which is
keeps
Can he
going.
though? Because also Hermione aged more than she should have
Yeah.
this year. She went back in time, and every time she went back in time, it's not like a pause on time. Her body continued to age.
Yeah.
I'm just assuming, right? Like that would make sense. So even though she packed more classes into 1 year in like the prime timeline, she went back in time multiple times. So it's almost like she is 3.5 years into school. But granted, she didn't have to go back that many times, only each individual class. She's a rule follower. Would she go back to study? She's sitting in the library. It's late. She doesn't know what she needs to. Turn it back an hour. Keep studying. Do more homework. I feel like that'd be hard for her to resist.
What happens if she fell asleep though?
Well, she did. I was gonna say that one moment that she freaked out. Didn't she miss?
Yeah, she missed charms.
Yeah.
She missed.
Can you
use it after that?
But if she's going back and
yeah, wait, but she didn't go back to take it, or it was too late.
I guess it was too late. Maybe that's why the parameters are on it. Maybe they say you can only go back during school hours to take it, but she fell asleep in the common room. And again, maybe the other thing is too that Harry and Ron came in and realized that she missed charms. So they couldn't go back and change that because she already she missed it. So it would be completely crazy in their mind if
but the thing is,
back and took it.
Again, with like the time travel thing that's so weird to wrap our minds around, like if she missed charms, realized and went back, from Harry and Ron's perspective, she would never have missed it to begin with because she would have walked in from the start of class. So it never would have been a red flag for them because she already in the future went back in time and was never missed the class, if that makes sense.
But that's meddling with time too much though.
You're right.
Because like I think it would make them go crazy.
You're right.
There'd be something in their mind that'd be like, she wasn't there, but she was there. Like,
and you're right. Because the only reason she knew she missed the class is because they told her she missed. So it was too late to go back.
Yeah.
Because she already missed it.
Terrible things happen to wizards who meddle with time.
Wait, is that a quote?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who said it?
Hermione.
Oh my! But that sounds like something that comes out of the Father Time handbook or something.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I know. There's got to be a rule book.
Yeah, there are rules, right? She had to do a class on time travel to start.
What do you guys think you would do if you had one day with the time turner? You can get sentimental or fun or.
It's like About Time.
Yeah, exactly. But you only have one day. Great movie, by the way. Someone on Reddit answered this one and they said, it's kind of a matter between all the time in the world or all the money in the world. My answer to that question is I would have all the time in the world. With all the time in the world, if I wanted to be rich and have all the money in the world, I could do that. So for me, having a time turner, I feel like I would be able to either own multiple companies and have multiple jobs while still spending time with family. Obviously, it'd be tricky, but I would hope I wouldn't go mad or crazy. But that's what they do. Just being able to be in more than one place at one time. Like the productivity that you can have, kind of what Hermione was doing, would be pretty cool.
My mind would just...
Yeah, I know.
It would be too much. I feel like I can't keep up with myself anymore.
Yeah. You need like detailed schedules of what you're gonna do. It'd be tiring.
Oof, yeah,
but that's kind of true. You could spend time with people and still be kind of rich at the same time. But what would you guys do if you only had one day?
Wait, can you go forward in time in this? Like she never turns it forward. It was always back.
Let's say you can.
Ah, okay, nice. So we could go anywhere.
Yeah. I don't know if you can actually go forward in time. I don't think so in this.
You want to know about the future?
No, not the future, but I just meant if we only had one day and then we went back, like I want to see what I was like when I was 4, or I want to go back to biblical times. I want to see Rome in its prime. Then do I have to live for the rest of my life from that time? Or can I say, it's been a great day. Boop, back to the present.
Yeah.
You know,
so
like,
that,
okay, yeah.
For sure. So like you can go back in one day or something like that. Yeah. So it can be your own life. It could be like Roman history, whatever you want.
Oh, maybe I didn't even think that.
Maybe
this is why I need you to talk. You pull me out of my box. I only think in small doses.
Only the 30-something years.
I feel like there are like very noble things that could be done, but I wouldn't do them.
Yeah.
It's like you could do a lot of things, but I feel like I would have to go back in my own life. I'd probably keep it there, as tempting as it would be to go back to cool parts in history. Yeah. Or and even like people who have passed away, like oh yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Like more time with my grandparents or something.
See them once.
But there are a lot of really cool things you could do in history to save people or prevent bad things from happening or warn people.
Oh, you just reminded me of something. I would go before my time because then I would meet my mom's mom.
Whoa,
who I never got to meet.
I was thinking that about my dad.
Yeah.
Right.
You
Thank
wouldn't
you for
be
saying
able
that.
to tell her who you are, but you could still
Right.
run into her by chance.
And I can know her.
Yes,
'Cause
exactly.
I feel like we were kindred spirits. I feel like we would have been really close.
Just like
That
stop
would
by
be
in a
nice.
coffee shop and just have a conversation
Yeah,
with
yeah,
her.
yeah.
Yes.
Like she's sipping it and like you guys just hit
Right.
it off.
Whoa.
Morning tears over here.
Well, now that's going to be in my head next time I meet a random playful stranger.
Yeah, seriously.
You are my great grandchild. Travel back in time to meet me.
Why are we hitting it off
That's
so
why you're being
good?
so nice.
That's great. That's a good answer.
Is your book falling apart?
Yes.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Of all the books that I got on the auction site, same one that I got my wands from, this was the worst one.
Okay.
Pages are falling out.
Oh, no.
It's in pieces. But you know what? We made it
It's
through.
loved.
We made it through.
And every page was there. Nothing was missing. They're just in rough shape.
I think I'd probably do the same with my time turner. I'll probably go back to my mom's mom too. She was great, and she was my grandparent who died first. But just going back and spending time with her would be great. It'd be so fun.
I even have like a cousin that passed like way too young, married and family. That would have been fun to have another full day. He was a child at heart, but I realized he passed when I'm at this age. He passed at 29 from like a massive like heart attack. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I thought that was older because I was younger. And I'm like, that's really young. And he was so fun. Like, he'd always play games with a car. He was teaching me how to play poker. He was teaching me all these different like fun games. And so that would have been fun to go back.
It is crazy. Your perception of time changes too. Like my mom's mom passed away when she was 64. My mom is 66 now.
Yeah.
When she hit 64, I was like, wow, Mom, you're
know,
so
right?
young.
Yeah.
So sad that your mom passed away this age. She was an incredible woman too. But just spending a day like being able to like hug your cousin or like your grandma. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that would be so nice.
There's a line in the final episode of The Office where Andy says, I wish there was a way you could know you're in the good old days before they're over, or like something along those lines. Like maybe in the future, we're going to want to come back to this
I know.
day.
Yeah, seriously.
We're living the dream right now.
I was going to say, cherish it.
Yeah.
We're up at 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning recording this podcast. What's
yeah.
better than that, guys? I love this. We're all living for this.
He's living his dream.
This chapter keeps going on too. They're going back in time. They save Buckbeak. They're figuring this whole thing out. And
Which
then,
we called that he didn't die.
I
Remember?
know. Yeah, you nailed that.
I was like, he didn't die.
Which
But it was an unmistakable thud. Unmistakable.
No, because then it makes me wonder, because the way she describes things, it's like with the time traveling, it's the same sounds and the same it's the same people and everything, but like, so the executioner threw his axe and then Hagrid goes, oh no, or whatever. But when he's time traveling, the same phrases is happening, but so it sounded as though the head of Buckbeak fell and hit the ground, but it was actually the axe that hit the ground. And then Hagrid is saying, oh no, but he actually means it in a positive, excited way. So it's just so interesting to me that it's the same wording and the same
actions.
Yeah, like nothing actually changed when they went back in time.
And that's the point
that
of
all
this
happened
time
already.
turner thing.
Yeah.
But it was just because I was like, I felt like I read it like that. Like, he threw the axe. Like, when I first read, I'm like, I don't believe this. Like,
Why
think
didn't they
it's
turn
fake.
around and look?
I know.
And
guess-
also, the part that annoys me is that you didn't need to go back in time to do what they did. Literally, Harry and Ron and Hermione were all at Hagrid's place already.
back, yeah.
They could have gone out and done that the first time. Set him free, bring him into the woods, hide him.
Yeah, it's a little pothole.
So it just felt like it's
I like to think they were too emotional to
later.
think that.
Yeah, you know? Right.
So then they kind of knew what happened. So going back, they were more level-headed.
Yeah. Because the first time it was like maybe they just felt like they couldn't mess with that. They're like, no, it has to be done. You know, it's set. But it felt weird. Like they should have been rebellious the first time. And then all of a sudden when they're like, we can time travel now, let's go save him. But I feel like they should have already done that.
But
Scabbers
he was
going
never
crazy, too.
thinking of that, though. He never thought of saving Buckbeak. Because Dumbledore is the one that said, like, you can save
Yeah.
multiple lives. And he's like,
Yeah.
what do you mean multiple
That's
lives?
true. You don't
Like,
know what you don't know.
He didn't even
Yeah.
think of that.
Yeah.
That's a great point because Dumbledore is the one that kind of put it in their minds. They were not even, it didn't even hit their register until then. But it would have been great. Like they could just take little Scabbers, offer him up to him. Hey, Buckbeak, come here.
Oh my
Scabbers goes crazy.
gosh.
Which brings us to another interesting question. If Scabbers gets eaten by Buckbeak, can he expand in Buckbeak's stomach and just like the Guardians of the Galaxy 2? And Drax goes in. You have to kill it from the inside.
Just picture him waking up and
Well, I guess he could swallow him whole. And then
Yeah.
he wouldn't be in pieces in his stomach. Sorry.
Yeah.
that's what I was just thinking.
Jonah.
Kinda-
Jonah and the whale.
So Harry, the whole thing happens, and Harry is talking to Hermione kind of on the side here, and he goes, "Yeah, I saw him." Harry said slowly, "But maybe I imagined it. I was thinking straight. I passed out right afterward. Who did you think it was?" I think Harry swallowed, knowing how strange this is going to sound. I think it was my dad. Hermione's response to this is that, Harry, your dad's dead. Is she the single worst comfort giver in the entire world?
She's done
I feel
that
like,
before,
I
right?
started thinking about this and I feel like that's her interpretation of comfort. Because in her mind, logic works.
Yeah.
So it's almost like that would
okay.
comfort her. So she's
Yeah.
saying that and she might think it's comforting for him when
You
in
always
reality it
comfort
might
people
not
in
be.
the way that you want to be comforted
Right,
too.
right.
True.
But also it's truth. Maybe he needed to hear that, you know, like
Yeah.
if someone starts
Yeah.
talking crazy, she's like, look, wake up. It wasn't your dad. It was harsh, but it still could come from love. You
And
know?
honestly,
Right.
maybe this was the linchpin that like actually got him to understand when he
Right.
was sitting there watching that this wasn't his dad.
Oh, yeah,
this
nice.
was actually
Yeah.
him. Because maybe he's still waiting for his dad at that moment.
yeah,
And
yeah.
he's like, Hermione's idea keeps ringing. My
He's
dad
dead.
is dead. I got to do this. This is me. I
Yep.
look like my dad.
But I thought it was his dad in some form too.
I know, yeah.
When I was reading, I was like, it has to be.
You guys,
He's gonna
you
come
guys
out
all had theories of his dad coming back, which is such an interesting idea.
when he needs him.
Yeah.
Which would have been. We're probably getting into the
What?
Dementors.
Yeah. What about him?
No, I don't understand why they were going after Hermione and Harry. Like they literally would have given. And I know Sirius Black was there, but I was under the impression from it that they were all going to get the kiss,
I think they were.
I mean, it felt like it.
right?
Yeah.
So I was like, what would have caused them to think that they are bad, Hermione and Harry? Because I thought they're very black and white in a way of like they go after what's evil. No, that's not. I forget how it works.
Dementors are weird because you have this in the Quidditch match when they go to the Quidditch match that they don't essentially know how to differentiate between. They're not like justice seekers. Whoever has happy memories, that's where they flock. And so at the Quidditch match, when there was just a ton of people that were overjoyed and excited, they went there because it was like a feast. So in Azkaban, I think even if someone's innocent, they don't differentiate that. They will just take their happiness from them.
But at that point, what was happy for Hermione, Harry, and Sirius
Well, they have like
Black?
core memories that
Yeah.
are happy. There's still happiness in them.
And
when
these are
they
deeper
crowded
memories of
them, though,
happiness.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like they were like barely alive, or like I'm forgetting.
But I
what
still think
the
there's like deeper
situation
moments of
was.
happiness that each of them are experiencing. Sirius actually feels like he's free now. He's like a free person. So he's going
So
through
that would
that whole
call
thing.
them.
Yeah.
But
So
they don't know that that's actually Sirius Black, or did they?
They do.
They
I think
did.
the Dementors probably do know this is Sirius Black. So that's another interesting one. They could probably differentiate. Maybe they have eyes somewhere that they could actually see.
But I thought they didn't.
I know. I don't think they do,
But they must have something.
but they have some kind of
then-
sight because they're looking for Sirius Black.
or they're looking
And-
for memories. Of-
Yeah,
Even
that's
at the
what
beginning,
I thought.
though.
It was like they were feeling.
Well,
Maybe. I
thought
I
there
was
was
just thinking
something-
on the train when we first encountered the Dementors. It was someone, I think it was Harry, looked at their hand, which looked crazy, and then it said like they pulled away as if to try and hide, like they felt exposed.
Like him.
They're aware of like people and like someone's looking at them and they're like, oh, shrink away a little. But also, didn't all this happen outside of school grounds and at night? Like, I feel like they're kind of like, no students are out here. So whatever Dumbledore told them, it's like, look, guard the grounds, do whatever out in the forest. You can, if you see people, take action. I feel like they were almost within their rights to like attack Sirius Black and his people helping him, in this case, Harry.
So I found it. It says on page 371, Dementors can't see, I think this is Sirius talking. They feel their way toward people by sensing their emotions.
But what emotions, though? So you're saying it's happy, but like I feel like in this situation, it wasn't.
Yeah. And is there also a differentiation between the kiss and them just
swarming someone?
Yeah.
Well, because they start pulling their hood down, and then that's the kiss coming when they. So it says it in this chapter that, or it says it that they were pulling down the hood, and Harry's watching him. The Dementor was starting to pull back the hood, and that's where he was like, "Wait, I need to send my Patronus out."
There's an aspect to this, I think, that is shared memories too, and the power of shared memories. And the idea of like bearing someone else's burdens and grunting it out, because I think that they are experiencing happiness at the moment, but I think Harry's happiness is translating to them. Harry's happiness is translating to Sirius. He's super happy that he doesn't have to live with the Dursleys anymore.
Oh, because he said that on the way out too.
Yeah. So that happiness, and I feel like the Dementors, like they are sharing a moment now. Like all their hatred toward one another has completely absolved to the point where Harry immediately wants to go live with them, which we talked about in the last chapter. Which is maybe a little crazy, but that's the amount of happiness that Harry has. So they're having this shared moment, and they're like unified in this shared moment. So when the Dementors come and swarm, they probably sense Sirius Black, and they probably sense some of the memories that Sirius Black has had in Harry's mind, and like maybe some of the happiness that he experiences being around his own parents and Sirius being around his parents. So there's some kind of connection between the two where they could probably differentiate, but at the same point, they're like, oh, this is an accomplice in Sirius's stuff. So let's also give him the Dementor's kiss. And Hermione's just like an innocent bystander who probably might get the kiss too. That was kind of my interpretation. I feel like they were both aiming to get the kiss at this moment, but Harry saved the day.
So will they just give anyone a kiss?
That's what I also was just going to say.
Because I feel like they direct or give them directions to get Sirius?
Yeah, but I still feel like because they were accomplices in this, like maybe the Dementors felt like they were helping Sirius out, so they...
But then doesn't that count for the justice thing?
Yeah, that's true.
They
can't... That's true. That's
but then Fudge says in it that I can't believe that the Dementors went after kids.
Yeah.
Or innocent kids or something along those lines.
It's also the fact that you can't really control these things. Like you can give them directions to go after Sirius Black, but at the end of the day, they're creatures. Like you can't exactly control. Like my dog, I give him commands and he's gonna disobey things. Most of the time he obeys, but there's some times where he just doesn't do it. It happens with kids. It happens with everything, and it happens with every creature too. You can give them commands. You can give a guard the greatest commands ever. But they still might disobey it if they get.
Yeah, but they're disobeying.
I was gonna say they're taking
like.
But they're more harsh creatures. Like they're very dangerous, harsh creatures. So I feel like it goes right in terms with what they would actually do.
So were they just everywhere looking for bugs? Sorry, I'm like.
I think specifically at Hogwarts, but
my brain around them. Like who created them? How do they exist? Do they die? Where do they live? What do they eat? If they're out in the wild, I don't know. So
who's in charge of them? Does Fudge give them the directions?
The
Ministry of Magic does, for sure.
But like, where did they find them? So that way, like, you're our guards now for Azkaban. And when was Azkaban created? There's all these questions I have. Like a toddler. What?
So
why? How come?
Maybe we'll find out in other books.
Oh boy.
Another thing that I thought was weird about the time turner is that when they went back in time, they were somewhere else. Like in my mind, if you're going back in time and you're standing in the hospital wing, you should be in the hospital wing still.
I thought about that.
You know what I mean? Like
it's a good thing
all of a sudden they're
Hermione's
downstairs. Is this like a roll of the dice whenever you do the time turner? You could just end up like somewhere
flu
different.
Powder.
Right. It's a good thing she's logical because she was put together, okay, we got to get in the closet.
Yeah.
But I guess she
we're
had done
somewhere
it
we shouldn't
times.
be. They're about to discover us.
Or maybe there's like a spawn point every single time you do that, so you know to avoid that point every so often.
Ooh, nice.
Like you spawn at that one part every single time you do a time turner.
That
Where
would,
they were 3 hours ago? Like, is it just plopped to where they were in that moment 3 hours ago?
But like a little away from their actual selves, maybe?
yeah,
Because they were there. They were walking down the hall. So
that would have been bad if they were going right to where they were because they would
it is
see
true.
each
As soon
other.
as they, maybe it's a little ahead of time because as soon as they popped there, they had to hide in the closet or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Because Hermione was walking right by. She hurt herself. Maybe that's what happens every time she goes just like a little bit away from her. And then she has to go hide from herself every single time and then run to the next class.
I feel like the whole you can't see yourself thing is a lie. It doesn't make sense. I mean, we're talking about time travel, but it feels like it doesn't make sense that would be a problem. If Hermione saw herself, she would know what was going on. She'd be like, future me, nice. See you in a little bit. You know, like, peace out. And then
Maybe
like
it's for everyone else because I feel like if Harry saw himself, he would have freaked out.
But yes, because Harry didn't know that time travel was a
Right.
thing yet. But for Hermione to see herself, she already knows she has the time turner. If she ran into herself somewhere, it would be probably fine. And then you would just not change anything, keep doing your thing. Or even if Hermione ran into friends while she was time traveling, it wouldn't be a problem because they would just think it was the only Hermione.
And what if they turned the corner and saw Hermione again?
Like, yeah, that's where it would be a problem, maybe. But
Take
she
out
was
the
in
maybe.
class
It's
with
a
a lot of
problem.
people, though. She was in class with people like every time she went back in time.
Oh, true.
Yeah,
So,
but
like-
was she hiding in the closet listening to the lectures? That's what I don't understand right
Yeah.
now.
Maybe she got like an invisibility.
Because it's not
cloak,
like
too.
she disappears and she replaces
Right.
that
So
version of her.
all it
Right.
takes is like any two students talking and being like, Hermione was in my class being so annoying. She knows all the answers. And then some other students like, wait, no, she was in my class knowing all the answers and being annoying.
But how often do you talk about other students like that? I mean, maybe like really annoying
Yeah.
ones, but I feel like even 8th graders aren't going to put that together in their head.
Yeah. It'd be like, one of us must be wrong.
Yeah,
Because
for
she
sure.
was taking multiple classes at once, so
Yeah.
she could go into the classroom.
And I even think with Hermione, they have her. She knows the parameters for this. They give her a brief, and then she has a time turner. I think for other wizards, if you don't know a brief, if you all of a sudden like if I randomly come across a time turner and I use it and I go back in time, like yesterday, and I go visit myself, I'm gonna think I'm going crazy. My previous self is gonna think I'm absolutely nuts, and maybe I'll try to kill myself. I don't know. But with Hermione, they gave her the brief, and then
Nice.
and then she knows, okay, in her head, before she uses the time turner at all, she knows this. And she's probably given the parameter she cannot go back before she's had this brief. Like right now is the moment you can go back. You cannot go back prior to her meeting with McGonagall. So they had to give her some rules for this. Otherwise, she can do whatever she wants. And she's a rule follower. So if they give her rules, she's going to follow those rules. But yeah, this one, that I think she's regurgitating what McGonagall probably told her to make her scared. And it's worked because Hermione definitely is following the rules on all this kind of stuff.
And if you went back far enough that you wouldn't be able to recognize yourself, like at a different time, then maybe it wouldn't matter at all.
Yeah.
Or you could wear a disguise.
I guess I get so confused with the time traveling though, because I can't believe that Harry saw himself with Patronus coming. Like he thought it was his dad, but then he didn't even know that he was going back in time. Like I just can't. Like it doesn't make sense.
Like,
to me.
that's a good point. Harry did see himself.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that bad. In fact, he saved his own life. So it's not like there's some crazy thing that like time explodes if you see yourself. Your brain will come up with some justification. As long as you don't try and kill yourself or do something bizarre.
And he saw himself from a distance too, so that's why he mistook him for his father. If he saw himself close up, they like walked into the same room. What?
It's Malfoy with polyjuice. Get him.
Yeah, seriously. That's probably another solution. They would probably think it is polyjuice at some
He can't
point.
come up with that spell potion.
Yeah, but Snape did it for him because he's trying to cause
Snape
trouble with his
hates him.
Slytherin boys.
Snape can easily do that.
Oh, Snape's annoying. I don't like him.
Yeah. Do you guys like Snape right now? Do you not like him?
No.
I liked him a little more in these chapters only because I felt sorry for him. But no, I don't like him.
It's like he's still stuck mentally in like high school.
In the past, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I
Get
like
over yourself, dude.
I like the
He doesn't shower.
Snape McGonagall dynamic.
He hasn't showered
doesn't
since.
Wait, is that a boy in the
the-
book? He
Wash
doesn't
your
shower,
hair, bro.
Oh yeah, his
got,
hair's a little
like-
greasy.
Greasy hair. And look at the pictures in your book.
That's true. That's true.
Ugh.
Ew.
I guess he's living in the past.
Living in the past.
In all
Okay,
With no
so
time to
yeah,
shower.
so that's an interesting point too. He's stuck in the past, but why is he stuck in the past? Can he just not
super
forgive
bitter
people?
about the Potter, the Mooney. Let's see if I remember. Mooney Padfoot, worm something, tailworm. No,
Wormtail.
wormtail and prongs.
Yes, nailed it. Nicely done.
That's so pathetic.
It is not.
He's so bitter with them still.
But how feasible is that? Do you still know hype people that are bitter about previous relationships that they have in high school?
Look, if he has
Yeah.
no friends now, he is spending a lot of time like in how do I say?
Introspective.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And when you sit there for that long,
Yeah.
sometimes you don't know how to pull yourself out of it, because if you don't have other people there or allow other people to help pull that out, you can turn into him.
And we don't know
I
what he
feel
was
like.
up to during all this Voldemort stuff. Like, there's that part of me that thinks he was involved with Voldemort and like evil, but like something happened. You know what I mean? Like something is going on mentally, and all of his friends or enemies or bullies or whatever from high school went on to do incredible things, and they were like major players in this battle against Voldemort. And I'm like, well, what did he do? What was he doing through all of this? And he's got all this, pent up energy, this bitterness, and nowhere to go with it now because the Potters are dead and someone's in Azkaban or whatever. And then all of a sudden Lupin comes along. That must have been quite a whirlwind. But this was his chance to get maybe not redemption, but closure. He's like, aha, justice will be served. I'm catching them. I'm doing the whole thing. Maybe that would have changed everything.
But then he would have known about Peter Pettigrew, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
That he still is alive, and he wouldn't have made such a big deal.
Wait, who?
If
Snape would have known?
Yeah, if he's actually like in cahoots with Voldemort somehow, he
Oh,
would
that's a
know
Good
about
point,
Peter.
I guess.
Like he wouldn't
Well-
even show up there, would he? Or maybe he's protecting Scabbers / Peter.
Well, Voldemort's alone and friendless, so he doesn't have any friends
But
right
so
now.
is Snape
Right.
alone.
They need to find each other.
It's a match made in
Oh, wait.
heaven.
I think I texted the group chat. Why did Lupin not recognize Scabbers? He should have as well if he ever saw Scabbers. So in class, I figured Ron would bring Scabbers. Black recognized him in one picture in a newspaper after
You're
a
right.
decade. Wouldn't Lupin have also recognized him right away?
It's like out of sight, out of mind. I feel like with Black
Yeah.
only focusing on
Because he knew he was still
yeah,
alive.
so he was
But
super
Lupin
focused
didn't
on
know.
Yeah.
one thing. Lupin
But
is teaching, he's
yeah.
with the kids,
And Scabbers was getting pretty shabby at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe he was less recognizable.
A little skinnier of a rat.
But he probably, rats are, you can differentiate rats.
Oh yeah, big time.
Even on this whole Snape discussion too, do you think that he was just a sideline player in the initial fight against Voldemort, and that's why maybe he's bitter that he's like, I wasn't in the battle here? Or do you think that he was on one side or the other? Do you think he was on Voldemort's side, or do you think he was on the good side fighting against Voldemort, and maybe something bad happened on when he was on the good side or something like that?
I mean,
Something.
Dumbledore
like that.
has him around, but then again, Dumbledore has had questionable teacher judgment in the past.
so many.
Well, yeah, Quirrell or whatever, right?
True.
There's
Dumbledore
like 3
had
good
to-
professors at Hogwarts. The rest are trash.
Yeah, but Dumbledore had to have, he didn't know that Voldemort was like in the back of his head. Like,
Yeah.
he
Well,
knows
maybe
everything.
he did know though. Yeah, and maybe it needed to happen.
Yeah.
It needed to
Well,
happen.
but now that we got time travel, that changes everything.
I
For all
know.
we know, like things were getting tweaked that whole time.
Dumbledore probably has,
Dumbledore gets to
maybe
the end and goes
Dumbledore is
back
the
and
travel
the-
Turner.
he's Father Time?
Father Time.
Because he seems to know a lot.
He looks like it.
He's always smirking.
always smirking
because he knows what's up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just can't figure out what Snape was up to. Like, when did he become such a good potions guy? Was he just in a dungeon the whole time? Like,
he has no
there's
friends.
some mega potion we need in order to defeat Voldemort, and I'm going to work on it.
Dungeon.
Maybe that's why he's bitter towards Harry. He was working real hard to defeat Voldemort, and he had a plan. And he was about to execute that plan.
Ooh, that's
and then
good.
all of a sudden, a baby kills Voldemort. And he's like, shoot!
Yeah,
Harry,
that's
I was going to
true.
get the glory, and you
Stole
just
his
Maybe
thunder.
that's why he's bitter and pissed off at Harry. That's a
man.
great point. Do you think that's maybe where his bitterness stems? Do you think the idea of him being bullied by the Marauders is the root of his issues? Or do you think it's something else?
Seems like it. Yeah.
It does seem like it. But I bet you there's something else because that's what she does in these books.
Come on, JK. No, but like,
JK.
it feels like this is
Just
the
kidding.
answer we've been waiting for. Oh,
You were just so proud of that.
boy. Oh,
She
good.
put her fist in the air. She was very proud of that.
Fun dad
That's
jokes.
why she writes that way.
Her name's not really J.K. Rowling. It's just her initial she gives herself.
Just kidding, Rowling.
Excellent.
Oh, man.
What were you saying, Danny?
Oh, was I saying something?
I think so. We forgot.
About
I was just
JK, about
just patting
Snape.
myself on the back.
Yeah, I
Sorry
don't
to
remember.
interrupt.
No, I'm sure it was something dumb. I don't remember.
Anything in this chapter that you guys saw that you noticed? I mean, there's great lines too. Like one of my favorite lines in this chapter is, "We'll see each other again," he said. "You truly are, truly your father's son, Harry." I love Harry being able to hear that too. That like breaks my heart a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And their goodbyes are super short too, which is sad. But anything else in this chapter that you guys saw?
I'm just looking through my notes here, and where McGonagall gave some advice to Hermione at the beginning, she said loads of wizards end up killing their past or future selves by mistake. So just the idea that loads of wizards could end up killing themselves means that even more wizards have been traveling around time. So this is not, maybe it's more regulated now, but this has been happening quite a bit.
Yeah. I'm so curious the parameters on some of this kind of stuff.
I really tried in this chapter to figure out the exact time of sunset. Couldn't do it. There's not enough information. Because then I was like, if we know that, we know where at least the longitude, latitude of Hogwarts.
Oh, that'd been great.
Yeah,
close.
right. I knew that too.
Okay, so we're on to the last chapter now, unless you guys saw anything else.
Well, I get so like intrigued by Dumbledore. I like still think that I've said this a bunch of times, that he like can see the future or knows the future somehow. Because when the execution part of Buckbeak, he keeps delaying things, like he knows that Harry and Hermione need extra time, and like smirking, and then I don't know. I just thought that was so funny, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
Of like following along, because I don't remember reading in the previous chapter they don't talk about those details before.
No.
So I just thought that was
It's like
really
he's buying
interesting.
them time for sure. There's all sorts of lines, even like he talks about, "McNair, if Buckbeak has indeed been stolen, do you really think a thief would have led him away on foot?" said Dumbledore. Still
Yes.
sounding
Yeah,
amused.
I know.
Search the skies, if you will. Hagrid, I could do with a cup of tea or a large brandy.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. And then the next chapter he says something similar to Snape.
Yeah.
Like the exact, like what they have done. Oh, if people could be in two places at once, then there's no need. I'm butchering it, but something along those lines. I'm like, you're literally giving him the evidence to like say like, wait, they might have used the time turner. That's where I was like, wait, why would you give that? Why would you
That's a
say
good
that?
point.
Because it kind of would draw your memory.
But your point is so good too, that whenever this book, you read things in the different way the second time you read it. So like this book is maybe one of the more fun ones to read twice because you see everything that was happening. But like because of the whole time turner idea and going back in time, she has to perfectly place things in the first time frame that when you read them the second time, you're like, oh, duh.
I know.
Or like, oh, this takes on a whole new meaning because of it. Like the axe thud or like Dumbledore saying certain things.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like.
But we're on to Owl Post again. The last and final chapter.
Yay.
What did you guys give me a description of this chapter?
Really
Short
excited
description.
about that.
Yeah. The summary of this is I'll just give it because it's not crazy. It's just
You're
like
gonna do a summary?
it's just the information
Go for
download. This is a staple of these books so far.
Yeah,
that he
yeah.
meets with Dumbledore after, and Dumbledore gives him a briefing or a debriefing, whatever it is, of everything that happened. And it's some of our favorite chapters because we get most of the information. We get so many beautiful lines from all these too.
Yeah, like ties up.
Yeah,
everything.
ties everything up so beautifully. And then they go back. That's pretty much it. There's again we talk about lines in this, but there's great lines. Like one where they're running back up. Dumbledore looked up and a wide smile appeared under the long silver mustache. Just what you were talking about, his little smile.
Yep.
Well, he said quietly. We did it, said Harry breathlessly. Sirius is gone on Buckbeak. Well done. I love that. And then, as we were talking about before too, well, there you have it, Severus, said Dumbledore calmly. Unless you are suggesting that Harry and Hermione are able to be in two places at once, I'm afraid I don't see any point in troubling them further. We talked about this before.
He's like giving it to him.
I know.
It's like reverse
I love
psychology.
that.
So if he's just flat out saying it, he's like dismissing it.
Again, is another interesting point in that the time turner idea must be regulated. Not a lot of people know about something like this, which is stuff that we've talked about before, like branches of magic that not everyone knows and not everyone has the ability to know. Because Snape probably doesn't know about the time. Maybe he does.
He's one of the professors, so none of the professors know that Hermione is time traveling to take their class.
Though.
That's a great point.
I feel like it would piss him off.
Yeah.
Especially because he picks on her. And she's a Gryffindor. I feel like I'm just thinking that now. I don't know if he'd like it. So I wonder if the professors do know.
Maybe there's got to be some sign off. Every one of them have to sign a permission slip.
That's what I would think.
Yeah. Which is the permission slip was the funniest point. We were talking about that. Jen nailed that prediction in the last podcast. Just in passing, us going, you were like, oh, maybe he'll sign Harry's permission slip. And internally, me and Kristen are like, he does it so good. That was so
I don't even know how that
funny.
came to mind, but I was like, that'd be a great little fun.
What was the other prediction that you nailed too that you said? I forgot.
That Lupin. No, sorry, that the Firebolt.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That Sirius Black was making up for all his gifts. I said it very
you said
similar to that.
I think you said almost in exact words. You're like, he's making up for all the birthdays that he missed.
Yeah.
And literally, that's exactly what Sirius said.
So
Consider this 13 years worth of birthday presents that I missed, or whatever, or 15 however old he is now. Oh my gosh.
Who knew?
So
I got no filters going forward. Just say it.
We talked about this before too, but Snape is infuriated here. Why do you think he's infuriated? And again, do you think he's good or bad? Like, what are your theories on Severus Snape? Is he a good character, a bad character, a neutral character?
I feel like he's good deep down, but he comes across as bad, as like a cover for something. I'm not sure what, because he gets so angry with this situation too, because he thinks Sirius Black is. I guess if he actually was with Voldemort, I don't know. Maybe he would be wanting to catch Sirius Black too. Because I'm like, if you would just stay out of these situations, if you're trying to, like, if you're going to join the dark side again, you wouldn't really want to get involved with this, I would say. Yeah. You want to be, like, discreet.
Yeah. Seriously, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Like, it almost feels like he would want Harry to be caught by Sirius Black if he believes that Sirius Black is bad. But he doesn't.
He wants to be right so much too, because he gets so angry.
That's definitely a defining character of him. He wants to be right.
Yeah. But why? Something stemmed from like high school, I feel like still.
I'm just trying to think of what he's done. Like, he hasn't done anything good.
Yeah, he did. Bad. He saved Harry one time at a Quidditch match because he was doing the spell to counter Quirrell's spell. So that's why I was like, I think he's good. Otherwise,
so there's like an inner nobility.
But
yeah, you're right. And I feel like him and McGonagall and Dumbledore and Hagrid, these are like the go-to teachers, the core people.
What is so great about Snape, though?
What?
Like, as a professor, he's just good at making potions because he's a horrible teacher. He's like always, I feel like he bullies his students unless they're Slytherin.
Yeah.
He's definitely one of those. I honestly feel like he's a Lockhart version, but someone who's good. He's a terrible teacher, but he's exceptional at potions. Maybe one of the best in the world. So
But how do you
it's the
teach
idea.
that?
Yeah, I know.
I feel like it's like a chef. Like
Yeah.
they
Right.
just like know how much is a dash.
Yeah,
And like how do you
Yeah.
teach that
yeah.
to like a
That's why
student?
some people have it or some people don't. I feel like that's true for all these classes. It's true for all classes in life, I guess.
I feel like he doesn't want to be a teacher, but again, I'm coming back to this idea that Hogwarts being a school, it's like he can teach but do his own research on the side. Hogwarts pays for all the ingredients
research
he needs.
professor, yeah.
Like the stuff that are. It would be hard if he just had a random house to stock up on all the stuff he needs for potions. But at Hogwarts,
Imagine walking into his house
Wait,
and just
do
lined
they?
with like rat's tails and frog spawn and
ugh.
But these professors seem to live in Hogwarts and like
Yeah.
that's it. Like they have
mean-
no other lives outside of Hogwarts.
Wow, you're
Right.
right.
Yeah,
what do they
they
do in the
don't.
summer?
I don't
It's
know.
like a party.
I was
No life.
literally
They just go
thinking,
to wherever and drink.
yeah. They're in
Three
Hogsmeade
broomsticks.
drinking.
yeah. And
Or are
like
they off on
holiday
exotic
breaks and stuff?
vacation
Do they
somewhere?
have family members? Do they have spouses? I don't know any of this. Not that we need to know.
Yeah, you're right.
But I'm
Does
just digging
Dumbledore
really
have
deep.
kids? Is he running off to a house somewhere every summer?
scandal.
Yeah. What does he? Yeah. Does
Is
he have
Snape
kids?
his
That's-
son?
yeah.
Oh, whoa!
Oh.
That's why they fight, but they love each other.
It's a father-son dynamic.
Who's the mom?
I don't know. In the wizarding world, you don't need a mom.
Okay.
The whole chosen one motif. Maybe Snape is the chosen one.
Oh no.
It's like Anakin.
Yeah.
There was no father, and there was no mother.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, there's some other funny little lines that you throw in here too. Fudge is talking and he goes, perhaps we should think about dragons at the school entrance next
Oh
year.
gosh. I
Oh yeah.
Do you think he's serious? Do you think there would ever be dragons at Hogwarts?
No.
feel like Fudge would think that's a good idea.
I know, for real.
This is
Because
great.
he's an idiot. He's like, well, you know what?
They'll just
Dragons
wear a
at each school
collar
entrance.
and a leash, and then we'll
Yeah.
be fine. in
And
the
that's
front.
not
Yeah.
even that far fetched. They had Fluffy sitting in some random thing.
Right?
Right. Add more to what Hogwarts
Yeah,
already
yeah.
has.
That feels totally normal. They're like, oh, we want a garden entrance? Let's just put a tree there that whacks people.
Honestly, with how dangerous Hogwarts is, like battling a dragon would be tame compared to what else they had to fight. Up until this point, so up until third year, this is another side question. I threw this out on the normal Harry Potter Reddit, but would you have pulled your kids out of Hogwarts at this time or earlier?
Yes and no.
yeah.
Yes and no?
Like logic says yes, but then if Hogwarts is the only school that is going to teach you how to use your
Ilvermorny.
magic,
I was gonna say there's other
There's
ones.
tons of other schools. We went
Yeah.
into this.
it's not in the book, John.
Yeah, I know,
This
it's true.
is something that I'm going to pretend is not headcanon.
Oh, that's a good point.
Then you stay because it's worth the risk.
Yeah, I guess so.
Risk your kid's life.
I feel like it'd be
Life,
harder
huh?
for people like
Let's go back
Hermione's
in
parents.
time.
Yeah, go back in time.
Sorry. what were you-
Because like Hermione's parents, they're new to all this. They're like, why? This makes no sense. You're risking your life every single year. But other
That's
wizarding
true.
parents, I feel like who went through school themselves, for them, it's all same old. They don't even mind.
Par for the
And
course.
at the end, I feel like we might discover more about Hogwarts. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but something that makes it a little less extreme. Like I said, they don't seem to care about safety at all, ever.
But apparently you can't apparate in Hogwarts, which you guys
Yeah.
did say that. But like, what kind of spell is that? So I guess in a way it's like, okay, it's safe because no one can just appear here.
Yeah,
That's
like in
dangerous?
some ways, and well,
You can just
like
walk in.
Hagrid said, it's the safest place. And there might actually be some truth to that. As much as we love making fun of it, they have clearly put a lot of protections in place at Hogwarts. So maybe some of the wizards are like, well, when Voldemort was out and about, he never got to anyone at Hogwarts, but he got to these people there and these people in London, and he did that here. So in people's minds, maybe they actually think of Hogwarts as being safe.
It's an interesting version of safe, though. I'm sure like the Weasleys are talking, oh, Ginny, you got abducted and you almost died in your first year.
Yeah.
Oh, that happened in my 3rd year. Like Mrs. Weasley is like, oh yeah, the chamber got open like my 6th year. It was no problem. Like, that's fun. Like, what the heck?
And I was just going to say that maybe there's something that bad things can't fully happen. But then I was like, oh, wait, no, students have died. Because Myrtle was a student, right?
Mm-hmm. That's the only one we've heard of, though, right? So far?
Yeah, but and that's why I forgot about that. And at first I was thinking maybe they're like Dumbledore or the headmaster can do time travel things and prevent anything truly bad from happening. But
then do Myrtle's parents just come to visit her ghost? Be like, I want to talk to you. Because she's not really gone.
That's fascinating.
Oh, man.
So it's like, yeah, she's dead, but let's go have a chat.
That also brings up...
would they want to talk to Myrtle?
They're like, oh.
So mean.
Oh, goodness.
Poor Myrtle.
Peeves. I don't like Peeves at all. He hasn't come up much here, but I still don't understand him, and I don't know why Dumbledore is down with him causing trouble.
But can he tell him to go away?
I don't know.
I thought it's like if you died there, you stay.
But
to some extent.
I don't know what the heck a poltergeist is. I still don't understand.
That's what Peeves is.
Yeah, he's not a ghost. He's a poltergeist. So he's physical. He can touch
else,
things and manipulate
something
things.
else happened.
But I don't know if he's died. I don't know if he's just like a created thing. I don't know what the heck a poltergeist is, to be honest. And I've Googled what the heck a poltergeist is. I still don't understand.
Doesn't it just say that they're like they can move stuff?
They can move stuff.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so what the heck does that mean?
But did they also die?
Yeah,
did
like,
they
how did
become
he
one
die?
by choice? Yeah.
Maybe one commits suicide and one is killed.
Yeah. That's an interesting idea, actually.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Peeves is a weird dude. There's also, I'm going to quote a lot of lines in this chapter, but he's talking to Lupin here and he goes, yes, your father was always a stag when he transformed. You guessed that right. That's why we call them prongs. That's what Harry's was too. And I love the significance of Harry's and his dad's being the same Patronus. I think that's really like...
Oh wait,
really,
beautiful. I think I read this wrong then. I thought that Harry's dad turns into a stag when he would change into an animal. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, and that's why.
But you're saying his Patronus was also
a stag.
Yeah.
Wait,
I wonder if that's
Harry's
true.
Dad's Patronus was also a stag, even though he would turn into that as an animal, and then that was his Patronus.
We don't know what James's Patronus is.
Okay.
He does turn into a stag.
Okay, so I did read that.
Yeah. So his Animagus transformation is a stag, but I don't know if we know what his Patronus is.
Okay.
Like, do normal wizards all learn how to do a Patronus? Like in the last chapter, Hermione said that's very, very advanced magic, which is awesome that Harry's crushing some advanced magic. But like, is that normal? You're like, well, I don't plan on going to Azkaban anytime, so I don't really need to learn this. Or is that like year 7, everyone learns it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely advanced magic, way more advanced than 3rd year. But maybe they learned.
But then he got the confidence because he saw himself do it, which is why this time travel is killing me because I don't get it.
Yeah, you could just see yourself doing things in the future and just like, oh, I could do that.
I can do it.
It's the importance of confidence. The greatest sports movie of all time is Space Jam for the greatest lesson of confidence. You drink Jordan's secret stuff and you can do anything you want. There's another. I don't think we know what. He transforms into a stag. I don't think we know that his Patronus is a stag.
Thank you for saying that, because I definitely thought the opposite of you.
His Patronus is a stag,
yeah.
but Harry's Patronus is a stag.
Right.
Which is his father's
animagus. His father's animagus form, which is that's really endearing. I love that.
It is, yeah.
Dumbledore then goes into his whole thing, and Harry's questioning if he made any difference. And Dumbledore says, "Didn't make any difference," said Dumbledore quietly. "It made all the difference in the world, Harry. You helped uncover the truth. You saved an innocent man from a terrible fate." Do you think Harry or Dumbledore is more right here? Did Harry actually do anything of worth?
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
But I think it's because you can't change the past history. So he did the most you could without actually changing what happened in the past. And to those two people, he's not Buckbeak's not a person, but like to him that's huge, and to Sirius Black it's huge. But I think in Harry's mind it's like he didn't catch Scabbers or Peter Pettigrew, so it was useless. Like this wasn't worth
I feel
anything.
like Harry was kind of in his own head, kind of like what you were just saying, and like Dumbledore seeing the bigger picture of things that maybe he wasn't thinking of. That makes sense. I had thoughts in my head and it's not translating into proper words. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, I guess it does make a difference too. And even when Harry's in discussion later, this thing was like almost predicted by Trelawney, because Dumbledore talks about this too. Or Harry says she kind of went rigid and she actually seems like she had a real prediction. And Dumbledore says, "Do you know, Harry? I think she might have been," he said thoughtfully. "Who'd have thought it? That brings her total of real predictions up to 2. I should offer her a pay rise." So Dumbledore clearly thinks that Trelawney's a fraud here too. But after Dumbledore thinks that she's only had really 2 predictions, do you think Trelawney is a fraud or actually a good seer? Do you think she's a real seer?
I mean, what percentage do you have to be correct to be?
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously there for her.
Yeah.
If that's.
But she's not even aware of it. That's
right.
What's crazy. She's a seer, but she's unaware that she is.
Yeah.
Accurate.
And this is her own. This is only her, according to Dumbledore, her only her second real prediction.
I wonder what her first one was.
Yeah.
I will
She
be a
predicted
professor.
she was going to get the job.
Yeah.
Hogwarts. And she nailed it. I feel like if she said that,
or maybe she's Dumbledore's spouse.
Oh my gosh, that's why she has a job.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And then
Jen coming out with the steamy theories.
I'm trying to like see if they could work.
They're kind of like ethereal, a little out there, a little out to left field. That's so good. There's another really interesting line in this too, where Dumbledore says, Pettigrew owes his life to you. You have sent Voldemort a deputy who is in your debt. When one wizard saves another wizard's life, it creates a certain bond between them. And I'm much mistaken if Voldemort wants his servant in the debt of Harry Potter. I don't want to bond with Pettigrew, said Harry. He betrayed my parents. This is magic at its deepest. It's most impenetrable, Harry. But trust me, the time may come when you will be very glad you saved Pettigrew's life. What is he talking about here?
he knows the future, so something.
She's like,
it's proving my point further.
That's so funny.
Huh.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about this part. It's interesting.
Yeah.
That was like Snape and Harry Potter's dad, though, wasn't it? James, because he said no.
What?
No. That like he
Yeah.
doesn't
that's right.
like you, but because James saved Snape's life, he was going to do it like
And
back.
Sirius is in his debt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great point. I hadn't even thought of that. That whole idea is really interesting. But do you think that what do you think he's talking about? Magic at its deepest is most impenetrable. Like, do you think we've talked about this before again? But there's magic that is deeper than other sorts of magic. There's magic that's like even music. What he says in one of the first books.
Yeah.
And magic beyond all we do here, or something like that. So there's magic that's clearly deeper than other sorts of magic. But how do you think this is actually pertaining to his relationship with Pettigrew? Like this bond between Pettigrew and Harry?
I mean, it kind of makes sense, but I just don't know how it plays out. Like, is it Pettigrew at some point is like, Harry, I'm going to kill you. And then when he tries to, it just blows up in his face. Kind of does one of those Lupin maneuvers with Ron's broken wand. Or is it something like he's Harry's shield. Someone else tries to attack Harry. Voldemort does. And then Pettigrew takes the hit without even meaning to. Just absorbs it. That bond.
This idea, one of my favorite things to do in any sporting event, and this is opposite of what they teach you to do. Trash talk is the greatest weapon that people say they have against other people. But my thing, especially when I was in college, I played college soccer, and there's something that I live by, this little proverb. When your enemy is hungry, give him something to eat. When he's thirsty, give him something to drink. And in doing so, you'll heap burning coals on his head. I live by that. And I found this was the most effective form of trash talk, that when you're kind to people who are trash talking you or who are mean to you, it puts them in a weird position where they can't play as hard against you. In my mind, I'm going to play as hard against you. I don't care what I'm going to say. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm going to play hard against you. But I remember some kids would they'd be coming down the field and they would put a move on and they'd take a shot and they'd get really close. And I would go up to that player after and be like, dude, that was a great shot. Like you almost had me with that one. And I remember people would look at me like I was out of my mind.
They probably thought you were being sarcastic.
Yeah. After players would trash talk me, they'd be like, they'd curse me out, do something ridiculous. And then I'd go over and just joke around at them. And I remember the looks that I got were like, what the heck? Almost in every single occurrence, those players played a little bit softer on me because they thought I was kind and nice. And I was able to exploit those weaknesses. And I feel like this is almost the same with Pettigrew here too, where maybe they'll meet in the future somewhere. And Pettigrew's going to go a little bit softer on Harry because he realizes that he saved his life or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's usually how it plays out in these movies, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like that's also it's true to life,
Yeah, for sure.
There is a certain, even if magic isn't involved, there is a debt, a certain something.
And I also like the idea that Muggles can be impacted by this kind of magic. To me, that this deep magic is stuff that's not just wizard and witch related. It's stuff that is still existing in our world. That's the magic that's translated in our world. Even the idea of music being a magic that's beyond everything that we do. We experience that in certain songs and things that we listen to that transport us to somewhere else. And I feel like that's a great idea. Even the idea of Dementors. Dementors can affect Muggles. They even the whole idea of depression, getting in a funk for all those kind of things.
Yeah.
Deep
but
magic.
They can't see it.
Yeah, for sure.
So is that what our depression is? Dementors.
It's just Dementors. All we need to do is learn how to do a Patronus.
I'm glad I can't see
eat
those
lots
things.
of chocolate.
Well, I got that
I was
covered.
going to say you're covered.
There's also a really beautiful line when he's talking to Dumbledore here too, where Dumbledore says, "You think the dead we loved ever truly leave us? You think that we don't remember them more clearly than ever in times of great trouble? Your father is alive in you, Harry, and shows himself most plainly when you have need of him. How else could you produce that particular Patronus? Prongs rode again last night. So you did see your father last night, Harry. You found him inside yourself."
I love that.
Do you think that he's right here?
Yeah.
This is
Dumbledore's always right.
Yeah.
I agree with him though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love thinking about that because even people that I've lost, it's they're not physically here anymore, but they are alive in our memories and in our mind. That's a really cool thing to think about.
And then that's how you but it's cool because then the Harry Potter does the Patronus by you have to think it for it to come to appear. And then it was his dad that's appearing. That's kind of neat.
And I guess the unknown thing is, he does get confidence, but the idea that he thought himself was his dad maybe was the thing that just propelled him to be able to do it. That was such overabounding joy that Harry had this realization that his dad was still with him in his mind. And he was thinking of these thoughts of his dad. And that was just producing such overabounding joy that he's able to do this, rather than the idea that he saw himself do it before and he got confidence, so he knew he could do it. It's probably both, but I think this line is the reason that Harry was able to produce his Patronus so well, because he really understood. He felt this, but he didn't completely understand it until Dumbledore really explained it right here. I mean, this is even true of what we just talked about with the time turners. All of us would go back to a time when we have lost someone that we loved, and we would go back and spend a day with them. So it's these people never really truly have left us. I love this line. This is one of my favorite in this whole book. There is another line too, where Ron, they're kind of on their way out, and Ron is talking and he goes, "I'll fix it up with Mom and Dad. I'll call you. I know how to use the Felly tone now." "A telephone, Ron," said Hermione. Honestly, you should take Muggle studies next year. Do you think all
good.
witches and wizards should be required to take Muggle studies?
Yes.
Yeah, it'd probably be smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially Ron. Ron is an idiot, not like knowing how to use a telephone.
Screaming in it. It's so funny.
And of all the people who would know, it'd be him with his dad at the Ministry of Magic.
Yeah.
Like, if he doesn't know, other wizards are hopeless.
I know. Even it's funny in the movie when he first meets Ron's dad, Mr. Weasley. He's like, "Tell me, Harry, what exactly is the function of a rubber duck?" Dude, you literally study Muggles for your whole life and you don't know the answer to this question? Come on. But we all love Arthur Weasley here. He's great. But Ron is inviting Harry out to the Quidditch World Cup next year. If you had to guess what countries would be Quidditch powerhouses? What countries are winning the Quidditch World Cup next year?
Leaving this up to you two.
No.
South American, Central America.
Huh?
South America.
South America Central?
Yeah.
What country? There's a lot of countries in that region.
Yeah, I'm going with continent. Brazil.
Oh, boy.
Good soccer.
I was going to say,
good
are you
Quidditch?
making a commentary on their soccer team?
Well, yeah, because John likes soccer, played soccer. I don't know.
I feel like it needs to be a place with a good temperature to practice year round.
Mm-hmm.
Open space.
I'll go with Mel's answer. England. Thank you. She's feeding me answers.
What about Greenland or Iceland? Greenland.
There's nothing to do up there, so they
Yeah.
just play Quidditch all day.
Except it would
freezing
Oh my
weather.
gosh, that's perfect for you.
Oh gosh. I mean, I would like playing
But then
Quidditch,
they
but I
probably
hate
have
cold
a
weather, so.
spell to keep warm.
Yeah,
Whoa,
yeah,
warm
exactly.
spell? Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
A warming spell, which I could use for myself right now.
I think Portugal would be good.
Ooh, yeah, great weather there.
Yep.
Was there anything else in this chapter specifically that you guys saw that you noticed, and even questions that you had, things that you were confused on?
I was waiting to see who would go join the Dark Lord. And we know they joined the Dark Lord by midnight, according to Trelawney's prediction. And Dumbledore is clearly steering us to say Peter Pettigrew is joining the Dark Lord. But I don't like that Sirius also left the castle before midnight.
Huh.
I am not sold on Sirius. Dumbledore's down. Harry's ready to live with him. Everyone's like, this dude's great. But I didn't go back and reread it. But back when they were in the Shrieking Shack and he was being so obnoxious, he still had maybe some of those animal tendencies, like Kristen said. But from then on, I'm just like, he's not acting like a fully innocent man, you know? I'm still a little skeptical of him. I like him now. I'm down, you know, he can hang out, but I'm curious where he went. I want to hear more about it.
Well, Dumbledore even said that to Harry. Like, he didn't play that innocent card. Like, he's not totally innocent, too. But I believe what you guys are saying to be true, that you did see Peter Pettigrew. And
yes.
Sirius is
Right. Oh, yeah.
But Dumbledore did say, like, he's not totally innocent in what he's done.
Because he's done other stuff.
Yeah.
Or
That's
at
what it
least
sounded
becoming
like.
an animagus. Yeah. Yeah. So
I
I'm
still
curious.
think he's good.
I think so, too.
But you just
But the
wanna-
timing is just too suspicious.
But there's a third person, wasn't there? Peter Pettigrew.
Yeah, Lupin.
And Lupin, that's right.
Yeah, because he ran off into the woods. So basically, when we were in the tunnel at the end of one of those chapters, 19, I think it was like, okay, let's see, midnight, you know, what's this timing going to look like? And then Harry wakes up in the hospital wing, and I'm like, it's still not midnight? I need to know where everyone is at midnight. Dumbledore can be wrong, but a supernatural prediction from Trelawney, I'm behind that. For whatever reason, I feel like she can't be wrong with that. So that's why in my head, I'm like,
that was a real prediction.
whoever is
yeah.
gone by midnight is guilty. Problem is, everyone was gone at midnight. So I'm like, man.
Can't make it that easy.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, it could be any of those three.
But to the average reader, you're thinking it has to be Pettigrew. And, to
And
Dumbledore,
that's
what
part
it
of
is,
why
too.
I don't want to just take that. Like,
exactly.
she puts that to us on a silver platter.
Yeah.
It's Pettigrew. Obviously, we don't like him. He's evil. He's literally a rat. But I'm gonna stay a little skeptical as we read on. Lupin is now not at school anymore.
I know, it makes me so sad.
It makes Harry
The
sad
only
too,
actual
unless he
good
went to join
teacher.
the Dark Lord. So
Oh my!
Dun, dun, dun.
Then
I don't know.
why would he teach Harry how to? I guess it's just for.
Why would any
Dementors.
of these people do any of these things?
Why are we reading the book?
Well, I think I
This
still
is the
think
best book ever.
Voldemort's got a thing for Harry. So if he's got people that are trying to, win him over, I feel like they're trying to keep Harry happy. Like,
Yeah.
become friends with Harry, win him over to the dark side.
Fatten him up a little bit before
Yep.
they slaughter him.
So for whatever reason,
So then, Sirius Black, Lupin are all.
no, not all. I think only one of them. Because Trelawney's prediction, it was one person is going to join him. I forget how she worded it, but it doesn't mean the others are totally innocent. Maybe it's Peter Pettigrew and it's just like we think. And Black has some guilt, according to Dumbledore. He's made some mistakes. He's done some bad stuff. But in general, he's pretty cool. Maybe. Maybe not.
So far in these books, who are your guys' top 3 characters? Not even just favorite, because favorites can be tough, but like, give me your top 3.
Hermione.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's definitely up there for me too.
Is it including or excluding Harry Potter?
Including. Because he's not everyone's favorite. Some
You
people,
just said
after they
top
finish this book, they're like,
versus favorite. You just
yeah,
said.
for sure. Yeah.
And especially in
So-
the movies, he's even more like dry.
Yeah.
But in the
Ugh,
book,
he's terrible in the
Better.
movies.
Yeah.
Mr. Weasley, really like him.
Yes.
Only because in my own mind, I've built him up to way more than we've actually seen in the books.
He's barely in the books.
Yeah. But in my own mind, I've just filled in the gaps. Like in his prime, he was crushing it, whether it's Quidditch or in battles against dark wizards. Man, I don't know. Lupin, he's kind of up there. I really like Lupin. Great teacher. Good guy.
And Dumbledore.
I don't like Dumbledore.
No?
Why?
Wow.
It just he feels arrogant. I don't know why. Like maybe he's all knowing. Like what do I know? But like he feels so like distant, and he's keeping Harry in the dark. Maybe it's for his own good. Eye roll. But it's like I just don't like it. It feels like he's teaching Harry in just a really strange way. Like if you're gonna keep your distance and let Harry learn on his own, that's totally fine. But every once in a while, at the end of the books, Dumbledore jumps in to just kind of like prove to Harry that he was in so much control the whole time. I'm just like, it just comes off a little arrogant. Now, that was a bit extreme if you just took that little soundbite out of me like hating on Dumbledore. He's a great guy. Love Dumbledore in some respects. But I don't find myself loving him as a character. He feels like a little aloof. He's just kind of out there. And then we only see him at the end once everything's resolved. And again, we don't know his whole situation, but
He directed the movies that you don't like. Yeah. You created a Dumbledore character.
it just, it feels like where is he when things are actually going wrong?
Yeah.
Why wasn't he the secret keeper for
Because he
them?
probably can't do certain things.
Like what?
Like he's too powerful that like he's not allowed
Maybe.
to do.
It's almost the thing of
something.
Gandalf. He can't take a ring of power because he would destroy Middle Earth with it.
But even like
Yeah,
all the
there.
times Harry's getting
Like
almost
John said.
he's almost getting assassinated while playing Quidditch, like all these
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
And
There's
Dumbledore
minor
wasn't there
things.
for all those,
Yeah.
whatever. But like we've just seen so many near-death experiences, and Dumbledore is gone. He's
Yeah,
flying
because
off
he's
to
really
London. It's
busy
whatever.
doing work somewhere else.
And that's why, like, when I hear
What
more
is he
about what he's
doing?
doing, then I might be like, all right, cool, I'm down. But from my perspective right now, it just feels like when he comes in, we get answers. I like that. He's super wise. Yeah, I like that. But something's weird. I don't like the way he's developing his relationships. He's got the I'm always right mentality. And maybe it's because he is. But it still feels like a little bit weird. A little. Like this has been a rant that makes it sound like I hate him. But it's just like, he's not going to be my top 3.
Okay.
Maybe Ron would be, though.
Yeah. Ron might be in mine too. I love
Yeah.
Ron.
Ron, Lupin, Mr. Weasley. Final answer.
That's a great top 3.
So those are, and that's funny. I was gonna say Mrs. Weasley.
Whoa,
You
nice.
picked all men, Danny.
Mrs. is great.
I think JK
okay.
is sexist. She doesn't have a lot of powerful women in here yet.
Hermione is.
Yeah.
But Hermione...
She's not powerful. She's gifted. She's not powerful yet.
I'd be
how
friends
is
with
that not
Hermione.
the
Don't get me
same
wrong.
thing? So Hermione is just talented and not powerful.
I still
she's
don't
not
like
powerful yet.
that she told on Ron and Harry
She's an 8th grader.
about... She nearly got Scabbers
How do
killed.
you get powerful? You have talent.
Which would have been a good
Yeah, but
thing.
no.
Well, now we know that. But at the time, she was not being a good friend.
Yeah.
And she told on Ron and Harry and got his firebolt confiscated.
She was doing
out of
the
love.
right. Yes.
Out of love, but yet...
Put those quotes away. What?
That is
wasn't
because
good for them.
he's
Love.
a guy and he doesn't understand the women's intuition.
Oh, you guys are such Hermione's. Oh, yeah. Your women intuition.
Wait, time out. Let's do this. Let's do this exercise real quick. There's a few characters I want to go over, and go like do rapid fire. What do you think their strength and what do you think their weakness is? Their biggest one. Ooh, yeah. We could do deep dives into Enneagram with them.
was
We got to
that?
think of that.
Oh, did you bring the Enneagram into this? I don't know it. I'll take a
Myers-Briggs,
back
yeah.
seat.
We'll bring in
fascinating.
Kaylee to
Yeah.
dissect them.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
got our psychologist on
A
staff right
special
here.
guest.
Okay, Harry. What is his best attribute? What is his worst attribute?
Resilience.
Resilience
Best.
might be his best.
Yeah.
Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I mean,
Rapid fire.
Yeah,
First
like the
that comes to mind.
resilience, yeah, but there's something... Like, there is a bravery there. Like,
Stubborn.
he just gung-ho. You know, he just takes action very quickly.
Yes.
Very admirable.
Even at the Whomping Willow doesn't think about going to a professor.
Brave.
Just go. Let's go.
He just, like,
Brave,
has instincts and he
courageous,
acts on them
resilient.
immediately.
yeah, brave, courageous, resilient. Love
Yes,
this.
yep.
What are his weaknesses?
Stubborn.
That was very quick.
True. But that can be a strength,
I mean, I
too,
don't know
sometimes.
what word,
But-
but acting too quick without thinking. I don't know what
Yeah,
word.
right. His strength
Rash.
is his weakness.
Rash. Yeah.
Oh, compulsive.
Wow, you're
Compulsive.
right.
Yeah. Wow. Fascinating. So good. So good. Okay, Ron. Strengths?
Compassionate.
Oh,
yeah, big heart, compassionate.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Good friend.
Loyal.
Loyal. Yeah.
Weaknesses.
Some stupid,
He's an
dumb.
idiot.
Yeah, like forgetful. It doesn't work that hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Typical high school, middle school kid doesn't work that hard. Just
Doesn't
kinda
think
wants to
things
hang out.
through at all.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we love him. He's a social little butterfly. He's great.
Yep.
Hermione, what's her strength?
Super smart.
Rule follower. Oh,
Determination is
determination.
good.
Determined.
Yeah.
Very good one. Rule follower. What's her weakness?
Rule follower.
Rule. Yeah.
Yeah, she's determined.
Or
A little too
too-
determined.
yeah.
Yeah, perfectionist.
Too logical.
All right, how about Dumbledore? What is his strength?
Wisdom.
Like,
See.
yeah, discipline. He's
Yeah.
very, like, even
Even-keeled.
keeled.
What's his weakness?
Does he have a weakness?
Yes. Many.
So you
No, I
can
feel like
list them, Danny,
it
for
would be,
us.
for me, it's that, like, arrogance, that, like, distant,
It's
like,
not
It's
arrogant.
hard for me
above.
to place though because it's like we don't fully know.
Yes,
He's just
yeah.
like popping in, you know.
And that's why,
But
like,
you
one
have to
little
extend
piece of
judges to
information could change everything. And that's how it was with Hermione. I'm like, she's being a bad friend. She's all over the place. She's not hanging with her people. And then we find out, oh, she's taken tons of classes, a big responsibility
Yeah.
with the timekeeper. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Now I'll forgive her some of the anger. And same with Dumbledore. If we find out something in a future book and I'm like, oh, that's why he did that. Oh, that's why he was holding back in this way, or why he came off a little arrogant. He's Harry in the future. He's just being weird to his own past self. Oh, cool. Well, in that case, I can be a little more down. But at the moment, when I don't know, a little arrogant, a little high above me. Yep. Nice.
That's so good. All right, how about Lupin? What's his best attribute?
He's like caring, I feel like, for Harry.
Yeah.
He wants the best for his students. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Good teacher.
Yeah. Yeah, he is a really good teacher.
Yeah. What's his worst?
He's a werewolf.
It's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
And I feel like in a weird way that there's like a selfishness to that. I don't know, like, it seems harsh to say selfish, but like
He didn't
the fact
choose
that
it.
but he wants to be a teacher and he's willing to put others at risk
Yeah.
to
But
do
he
it.
had it under control. It's just there was a situation that arose.
Yeah, but I feel like that's the kind of stuff you have to
the
account
accident.
for.
Well, which
you know?
he does, and then that's why he left the
Yeah.
school.
but at what cost?
Yeah.
The cost of Peter Pettigrew escaping to become the Dark Lord's only friend, or
but
nearly
if
killing
he
people?
didn't show up in the Whomping Willow chamber, what the Shrieking Shack?
Yeah.
If Lupin didn't show up, I don't think they would have gotten much information out of
Black
Sirius
would have
Black.
killed
Yeah.
Pettigrew, and then
And no one
gone
would
from
know
there.
what was going on.
yeah. That is interesting. Would that have happened? Black kills Pettigrew. Maybe tries to explain it all to Harry, Ron, and Hermione.
But they'd be pissed at him at this
Maybe.
point.
But if he like
And not
fully
wanna
explains
listen.
it, would it have lined up?
After he killed him?
Yeah, if he died as a
How?
rat, would he stay a rat or would he turn back into a human?
It's a great question.
Because that would change things.
Yeah.
Um,
You have to cover the heart, apparently.
oh,
Remember?
you said that before too, with Crookshanks jumping
On top
his.
of...
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely would have missed that, but after you said that, I was like, kind of makes sense. The heart.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, what was the other thing I texted the group chat?
A lot of stuff.
Yeah,
We were
Sometimes
on
I
a
just come up with
rant.
random
Oh, that's
things.
right. The long.
It was
I'm gonna
great.
read these 'cause
The
they're
long
good.
novel.
Well, because there was like one more thing I wanted to bring up about the end of the book, but I don't remember what it was.
You can go back.
I'm gonna look.
Time travel, go. Turn it 3 times back.
Jen is really entertaining herself over here. Okay, this
Breaking Ron's leg
is yeah.
over the line, and again, that's why I'm like not down with Sirius Black.
Wait, Danny, what did you say? Sorry.
Breaking Ron's leg.
Oh, that's
Like
right.
I don't
But
understand.
was that
why.
an accident? I don't
I
remember
sure
how it happened.
hope so. If it wasn't an accident, then it's even more over the line. But
Wasn't he a dog at the time?
yeah, and he must have been a really big dog. Like
Yes.
Ron is not tiny. In the books especially, he's tall. He's bigger
Yeah.
than his brothers. He's lanky. He's got legs that can get caught places. Okay. But breaking a kid's leg and
Snapping his leg,
dragging
I know,
him down
yeah.
a hallway?
Yeah. That is extreme.
That's what he did?
Yes. So from there, I'm just like, he laughs weird at weird moments. Then he wants to kill rats or people, and he's breaking legs and dragging them down the hallway. Like the whole thing, I'm just like, why? Why drag Ron down to the Shrieking Shack?
Yeah.
Why not have
It
that
was
whole
like
discussion
bait.
out in the...
For Harry. And
Is that why? Break his friend's leg
But
and drag him
also-
into a dark
No, but
like,
also
tunnel?
Ron is the one carrying Scabbers.
goodness.
Ron is the one carrying Scabbers.
So it was really after Scabbers, but he's like, I'm so fixed on Scabbers, I don't mind if I break this child's leg.
Well, because he probably would have fought harder. When you're in pain, you can't do anything. You're just there.
I guess
So
in the
he's like,
wizarding
I will
world,
cause
break
pain
isn't quite as bad.
Yeah, you're right,
as-
because you can fix it
Yeah.
afterwards. Oh, and that's another good thing that Lupin didn't try and fix it himself like Lockhart, because he like,
Yeah.
let's bring him to the...
Yeah. Even though we probably know Lupin could have fixed it.
Yeah.
But
But
he's
that-
a good professor. That's an attribute we love about him.
Yeah, you're right.
What
Breaking
he
is not
gonna
as big of a deal.
do for the rest of his life? Oh,
Wait, who?
Lupin. No, like
He's going to go off to do great things.
no one. Everyone knows he's a werewolf.
Yeah.
But is that such a big deal?
Apparently, yes.
Yeah.
Another thing that I liked that you said, even in this whole thing in your text thread, was the idea of the Fidelius charm being musical chairs. You have a Fidelius charm for the
I forgot I
person
said
that's
that,
like
yes.
that has the Fidelius charm over them, and then you just keep doing it. There's a person who's a secret keeper for this person. There's a person who's a secret keeper for this person. But the only issue is it's probably more people you trust. If you get one, you probably get all of them or something like that.
Right.
Like it might be
right.
some chain effect. But that was so fascinating to me.
Yeah, like, because then I just thought that if Sirius Black actually was the secret keeper and he thought that it'd be better to have Peter Pettigrew, great. Then leave the Potters in some town.
Yeah.
Then Sirius Black runs to a different town, does his own Fidelius charm, lets the Peter Pettigrew be the secret keeper, and then Dumbledore can be a secret keeper, and someone else can. I think kind of layer it a little bit.
Yeah.
But like you said, it would be a chain. Would the whole chain break? I don't know. Or is it just more layers of protection? Like,
Yeah.
it'd be impossible to get to the Potters unless you went through each level of the chain. So even if Peter Pettigrew broke the chain and then Voldemort was able to find Sirius Black would still be able to die for the Potters and
Yeah.
it wouldn't get to them. So we don't know enough about the charm. There must be more to it. It's not as simple as that. Otherwise, they would have done it.
Even some more character stuff. So let's finish a few more characters, good and bads. What do you think Snape's is? What do you think his best attribute is? Might be a weird one, but
I feel like similar to Hermione, it's that he's just really good at his job. Potions, I should say, not teaching part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever
I feel
that
like he
quality
wants
is.
to get to the bottom of things, like the truth.
Yeah.
Like a truth.
That's true.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. He likes truth.
He's very determined, I guess.
Is that what you would call? I'm trying to figure that. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, he kind of shares some similarities with Hermione there a little bit. What's his worst?
Everything else.
Everything
Super
else about
emotional.
him.
Oh, that's
His
true.
emotions take over.
He harps on the past.
Bullies students.
He's grouchy all the time.
Yeah.
Like never in a good mood.
Well, he doesn't have any friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a loner. That's his.
Lone wolf.
He needs a girlfriend.
He needs a girlfriend. Maybe that's why
kind of.
he's so
Grumpy.
He had a girlfriend, and then the girlfriend broke up with him, and he's been bitter ever since.
I was thinking.
Classic.
Oh, well,
There are no eligible women at Hogwarts. It's McGonagall and Trelawney. And Madam Hooch.
Yeah, but Trelawney's
like,
taken by
Dumbledore,
Dumbledore.
coming next. Yeah, right. Can you hire someone cute and young?
You got Madam
and,
Sprout too. Madam Pomfrey.
Madam Sprout
Professor
looks,
Sprout.
Oh yeah.
She looks a little squat, but hey,
Oh
that
no,
could
I'm
be
thinking of
Snape's thing.
Hooch or what?
Yeah.
Coach. She looks interesting.
How about Hagrid? What's his best attribute?
Caring,
I was going to say he's really caring.
Yeah. So true.
selfless,
Yeah. Great friend. One of the best friends in this whole series.
Yeah.
loyal.
What's his worst attribute?
He's dumb.
He doesn't
I know
think.
that's harsh, but I'm just a little mad at him right
Telling
now.
strangers freaking where how
little
to
mad at
get
him.
past his three-headed dog Fluffy, just taking a dragon's egg. What an idiot.
He's gullible.
That's the word. I was going to
Yeah.
say naive, but I'm like, I feel like that doesn't fit gullible.
I like that for a lot of our character assessments, they've been balanced. Like the same thing that makes them good. Their strength is also their weakness.
Yeah.
Like his big heart is what makes him
Yeah.
gullible.
Yeah.
And he trusts the wrong people because he is very trusting. He cares. He's a lovable guy.
Yeah, he is very caring. He's a great character in this. Do we miss any characters? Malfoy?
He doesn't come up in this book, so we don't have to talk about
he really
him.
doesn't. Okay.
Just gets slapped
We'll
once
save him for
and
another
that's
one. What is your favorite moment in this whole book?
Oh god.
I know it's a lot to go back on. We've been doing this for the past month, but what is your favorite moment in this whole entire book?
I love this shrieking shack where everything's revealed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sirius
Wow.
Black,
So much information.
Peter Pettigrew. You get the story. Yeah, that was really good.
Ditto.
Yeah, the Patronus stuff was also really cool.
Oh, yeah.
And oddly enough, the Quidditch match that she actually wrote well and like did the whole thing, that was like a really fun chapter.
Yeah.
First time I enjoyed a Quidditch match.
Love a good Quidditch chapter. I'm pretty alone in those, but me and Danny. I think that's probably one of my favorites too. I really love this book. I love the Quidditch chapter. I love just the one line where it says Harry understood and like he nodded. Like throat too tight to speak, he just nodded when he finally understood that Sirius didn't betray his parents. Love that.
Yeah.
idea.
That was big.
And then here's the final question. Rank this book. How did you guys like this book? Better than the other two? Worse than the other two? Middle?
I feel like it keeps getting better for
Yeah.
me. So this would be 1 and then 2,
Yeah.
3.
Nice.
I like the first one better than the second one. And maybe this one better than the first. I think on my second read through, I will like this one better than the first. But the first is pretty magical.
Yeah.
It's the introduction to everything. So
I think that's why I didn't
I
like
still
it.
feel like, oh, really?
Because I'm like, I want more,
In depth.
in
This gives you more
depth,
meat.
juicy
Yeah.
details. And the why, instead of like, and this looks, Hogwarts is centered in the, but you like that, like geography and like, wasn't that in the first book?
Yeah.
Maybe not?
Yeah, I guess.
So I feel like, laying
Yeah.
the foundation of where everything is, how everything works. Meanwhile, I like these details of what's happening,
Yeah.
and I want
Yeah.
to guess. what
This
the
is definitely the
next
book
This
that we
story,
most
is.
info.
yeah, there's like so much going on. It's really cool.
This was the book that made me like start wanting to hug them.
Yeah.
I still can't get over this cover though.
You know, the feel of the glasses and everything.
The
Honestly,
cover is ridiculous.
You got to take the covers off these books.
Yep.
But I didn't know, like, it's like you don't know what anything is until I'm done.
But still.
Like, I was tempted to look at the next book 4 because I have the cover.
Are you going to take the cover off?
I don't know. I haven't.
I kind of like looking at it.
I take the cover off just because I don't want to ruin the paper part of it.
Yeah.
But that's just a nice side bonus.
But your pages are falling out.
That's a great point.
Yeah, we're worried about the cover when your pages are literally...
But the cover is pristine.
You just want the outside to look good.
Of
the
course,
inside could be a
of
mess.
course. Mhm.
Got it.
Just like Lockhart.
just like life. Just like... anything else about these books? This books in particular?
It was really good. And my doctor that I work with was like, so are you guys done? Are you on 4? Did you finish 4? I was like, no, we're still on 3 because we are delayed because we can't find time in our schedules. And she's like, I can't believe you can just wait. Just read ahead. Don't tell them. Read ahead. And I was like, no, they need accurate reactions.
Well, I like that we're catching up now so that
You're welcome.
we don't have any podcasts left to release, right? Like we're recording this one and it will be released.
Mm-hmm. We were recording this one on Saturday, September 24th, and it's going to be released on the 26th. So
that's
Monday.
nuts.
Yes.
So
and
we
I
are
guess
completely caught up.
We'll watch the movie tomorrow and
Yeah.
record that podcast tomorrow or later in the week. So I love being caught up. I think that's really cool.
Everyone
and
can
happy
join
belated
us.
birthday to Hermione.
Yeah.
And to
I wanted to
you.
say that. Oh, stop it. That's not
Your
what I
birthday's
said.
the same as Hermione's.
Well, yes, but happy birthday, Hermione.
Yeah. You guys looking forward to the next book?
Yes.
Very much so.
It's just
Can't wait.
very intimidating. It's
So I guess
very
we have a
large.
little
Don't look at
bit
it
to
like that.
discuss before we start reading, but what are we going to do? 3 chapters? 5 chapters? And should we wait? Or can we start now?
We'll play that by ear. Let me look through the chapters. It's a long book, and this is exactly like what we want from this series, is that she like does more world building. So some of the chapters are less dense than like the end of Prisoner of Azkaban, but it's better because you want more information in each one. So it's like it's a more enjoyable reading experience, I think, from this point on. But some of the chapters, like we will for sure later down, we'll have to do one chapter for like 5 or 6 of the chapters. But for this one, we could probably skip through the first 5 chapters of starting, and then we can kind of go from there.
We cruise through.
So I will look at it later today, and I'll let you guys know what we'll read for this next upcoming week.
Excellent.
We're back into reading, and we're so excited. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us on our journey of Harry Potter and the First Time Readers.
I feel like Harry, Ron, and Hermione are my friends, and they miss me.
Yeah, we have to go back to them.
Like, I want to hang with my friends.
This is why I revisit it every year. I'm like, my friends are missing me.
I have to go hang out with them.
I did get in a huge debate once with my friends about books being truly friends or not. I was like, books are friends from you. Like, people in books, I know so well.